Welcome to The Middle Mix, a fun and unfiltered show for those of us in the middle of life. Hey, middies, welcome back to another episode of The Middle Mix. Another solo episode here casually in my living room as I just sit and chat with you about different topics that are relatable to those of us in midlife. And today's is a little bit more of a serious topic. We're not always real serious here at The Middle Mix, but I think that sometimes sharing some of these more serious topics is comforting and it helps us remember that we're not alone. And this one today is, what are your fears as someone in midlife? And I asked this question in my stories on Instagram, and so many of you replied. So, really, I'm going to go over what these replies are and see how everybody feels about this. Like, which ones do you relate to and which ones do you not? And I'll share some of my thoughts on fears as someone in midlife. I think that fear is a very complicated topic, and I think that fear sucks a lot of times. I think that a little bit of fear is probably healthy, but it can really get out of hand, and fear can really get in our way and prevent us from like living the life that we should be living, kind of thing, if that makes sense. So I don't know. Fear is very complicated and it doesn't always feel so good whenever we think about our fears. But you know what? We're gonna get uncomfortable right now, and we're gonna have this group session. We're not gonna call it therapy because this is not therapy, and it is not a replacement for therapy. But it is therapeutic, if you will. It feels nice to know that we have each other and we're not in this whole midlife thing alone. And I got to give a shout out to Rod Stewart because I am wearing. If you're not watching the video of this, I am wearing a recent shirt that I got from a thrift shop here in Houston, a Rod Stewart shirt. It's very colorful from one of his performances in Las Vegas, and I'm obsessed. So thank you, Mom, for teaching me about Rod Stewart growing up, or should I say brainwashing me into liking Rod Stewart because you played his music all the time. And I love Rod Stewart, and I still love Rod Stewart all this time later. If you heard any of those noises, that is a service truck outside of my house. I live in the middle of a city and these things happen. Here we are. Moving on. And while we're on the topic of Rod Stewart, I was trying to think of what my favorite Rod Stewart song is so that I could share it since I'm wearing the shirt and it'd be like on theme for this whole situation. And it's really hard to choose one. It's really hard to choose one. Like he was my first like concert whenever I was a teenager that wasn't the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. If you're from Houston, like if you know kind of thing, the rodeo is a huge deal here and like huge performers come to it, right? So ever since I was a child, like in elementary school, like I remember seeing Crystal Gale at the Houston Rodeo and Reba McEntire and George Strait. And then later Boys to Men, and I saw Destiny's Child, right? So many great performers, right? But that's at the rodeo and it's just a different setting. My first like regular concert of like a big name person was Rod Stewart. And I was a teenager and my high school boyfriend took me and it was fantastic. And so anyway, back around to my favorite Rod Stewart song. I don't know. I mean, is it Maggie May? Maybe. Is it Hot Legs? My mom played that one all the time. I mean, Forever Young, like we could go on and on. So I don't know. Do you have a favorite Rod Stewart song? Okay. Moving on. Back to our conversation about fear in midlife. What are we afraid of? Okay. So again, I ask this question in my Instagram stories, and I do that pretty often. I'll ask questions and actually like really do want your feedback. So please, if you're not following me on Instagram, please do. And follow the show, of course. Middle Mix also has its own Instagram so that we can get everybody's interaction because I really want this community to be a safe space for all of us to talk about the serious things, the not so serious things, the crazy things, the weird things, the funny things, all the things. All right. So, what are you afraid of in midlife? Here we go. I'm going to read a few of these to you. These are all anonymous. We are not revealing anyone's full name. Not completing the things I'm meant to do, especially now in midlife. Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. That's from Charlie. That's a big one for me too. I do have a fear of like not doing all the things in time, and meaning in time like when my time is up kind of thing, which please dear God, let that be whenever we're all really fucking old, right? But the truth of the matter is that that's really relatable. Like not completing things, not feeling like you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish That's a big fear for people. So super relatable with that one, Charlie. This one, growing old alone. Oh, cat. Yeah, that's really relatable too. Being not married anymore after a 20 plus year marriage. This has crossed my mind, but I think that it depends on the place that you're at in life as to whether this is a big fear of yours or not. Maybe if someone has been without a partner for a longer amount of time, like it's this whole life of not having a spouse is still new to me currently. So like I'm still in like, yay, I'm independent mode. um hopefully that lasts a while because it's great to be independent. It feels nice to me, but like I can definitely see how if you were without a partner for a while that it could feel like, is this going to be forever? Am I going to be alone forever? So I think that's extremely relatable. I'm wondering how many of you out there think the same thing. Here's another one. Um, it's another one also about partnership and love. I'm 43, almost 44. For me, it's never finding true love. My fear is never finding true love. All right, yep. Um, Next, not being able to provide for my family. Oh, preach, 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 preach. Right? Like that's a tough one. That's really, really a tough one. I have been through that as of course, again, a fairly newly single person. The dynamic is different. Thankfully, I have a really great co-parent and ex, but it, it's definitely a different dynamic. And also, whenever you are a part of supporting your family financially, like when you are either the main person or a huge part of it or half of it or whatever whatever you are, especially when there are children involved that are counting on you and literally depending on you. Whoop, pressure, pressure. I feel that one for sure. I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Next, my kid's moving far away. Don't leave, mom, please. And there's a laughing emoji. um, I don't share this fear. I don't share this fear. It doesn't mean that I won't be emotional one day if my kids live far away from me and won't miss them. But I don't fear it. I don't actively worry about it or think about it. I actually hope that they will move far away for their own sake if they want to, like go explore the world kind of thing. But also on the other hand, I do understand what you're saying here, that it it's a huge change and it would be very emotional after you've raised these humans and for them to like not even live close to you, right? So I'm sure that's a big one for a lot of you guys. This one, let's take a serious turn. My kids growing up to hate me. Tara. Tara or Tara? Whoa, baby. I feel you on worrying about what your kids think of you. I don't, you know, growing up to hate you. Gosh, hate is such a harsh word, such a strong word. I think that's a whole parenting conversation to just talk about making sure that we are being the best version of ourselves we possibly can be as parents, and progressing as well, because parenthood has progressed, thank God, from what it was whenever we were younger, but especially whenever like our parents were younger and they were children. So thankfully we're progressing as humans, so we want to just get better and better. But it's understandable, like in my mind, to think of one of my kids truly actually disliking me or truly having like a an actual real deep problem with me is terrifying. It's terrifying. I would like to avoid that. So I understand. Uh, this one says her fear is getting divorced after 25 years married and 35 together. Well, your fear has basically come true for me. Although that was not a fear of mine. Divorce was not a fear of mine, which is interesting. You'd think maybe it could have been, right? Because I come from parents that got divorced whenever I was a teenager. Um, and it was not a peaceful divorce. We're just going to sum it up like that. It was not peaceful, not even close to peaceful. And I feel like that could have given me a major fear of like that happening to me, but thankfully what I did with that instead was, no offense, mom and dad, I love you guys, but was to learn like what not to do in a divorce situation. And I kind of turned it around and used it that way. Um, instead of letting the fear of it possibly happening consume me. I don't know. That's a whole other conversation as well. Man, y'all are giving me episode ideas. Like this is insane. These are such great topics, but it's understandable. You're with somebody, she says divorce. So if you're married to someone for a couple of decades or more, especially in the age range that we're all in, that likely means you got married in your 20s. Like I know I got married in my 20s and got divorced in my 40s. And it's understandable. It's understandable for that to be a fear because it is a huge life change. And I've talked about this on this show before that I'm so thankful to have a peaceful divorce and to have a good relationship with my ex, and we love each other and care about each other. Um but even with that being the case, it's still not easy a lot of times because it's such a huge life change. It's such a huge change. Um this one really got me. Falling on ice while walking the dogs. Seeing that, I just thought, we could laugh about something like that. We could say, "Oh my god, I don't want to fall down and break a hip." But the truth of the matter is that motherfuckers be falling down breaking hips. Like this is a real deal. And I think that that is a totally legitimate fear. I think that with something like ice, obviously it can be very unpredictable. I live in Houston, Texas. I don't deal with ice a whole lot. Things don't freeze around here a lot. But I will say that, like, in general, the fear of injury is definitely something I've always had. And I'm sure a lot of you as well, especially as we get older. And I just think that that in itself is just even more motivation for us to take care of ourselves and to always, try to get stronger and more flexible and generally healthy. Because we can't control everything, but we can control certain things about our bodies and our health. Maybe not every little thing, but we can do a lot. So if nothing else, maybe use that fear as a way to like motivate you um, to be as strong and flexible and healthy as you possibly can be. Um, let's see, fear. This gal says that she fears herself because the hormone roller coaster is wild. I get it. The hormone roller coaster is really fucking wild. You know what I'm saying? Like, what it, what is all that? What, what? Am I 45 or am I 15? Confused. And that could be the name of a fucking book. That could go in a lot of directions. Am I 45 or am I 15? Not just hormones. Okay, moving on. Scared I'll never find someone to marry. 42 years old, never been married. Alice. Um, okay, I see that. I'm wondering how many of you guys relate to that if you are into your 40s and you've never been married, which I think is like so much more common these days than it was obviously whenever like we were, kids. Um, but I could see that, especially if marriage is something you really want. If marriage isn't really all that important to you, then like who gives a fuck, right? But like if it is, and you haven't done that yet, and you're in your 40s, I think that this is an understandable fear. Hopefully, you can find ways to not let the fear overwhelm you, and um, maybe it's just a sign you need to get out and mingle, single, ready to mingle. Um, okay, next. Not aging gracefully. Kelly, this is also a whole topic in itself. Man, I feel you on that. Like, I feel like the perspective I have on aging, quote unquote, gracefully, and some people don't like that terminology of saying that like that, but I understand what you mean, and it's like one of the only ways to describe it is like my perspective is that I don't want to look 15. Speaking of, am I 45 or 15? I don't want to look 15. I don't even really actually want to look 25. Um, it's hard to put a number on it, but we also don't want to look what we would consider to be like bad. Like if like my if my personal opinion is that wrinkles in between the eyebrows, which we call them 11s, um, are bad. Like my opinion as Brittany is that I don't like them. I don't think they look good. Well, then if I start having them, then it's like, oh shit, I'm not aging gracefully from my perspective. Like that looks bad. Right. So that's the way I look. And I don't care if people have 11s or not. This was just an example. But I think that that is different for everybody, like what we consider to be aging gracefully. And if we try to put a number on it and say, well, I want to look like I'm 25 when I'm actually 45 or 55, um, that can get pretty tricky. Because also, what the fuck do 25-year-olds look like now anyway? What is anybody? I don't know about age. I can't do it. I can't guess people's age. I don't understand. I don't know how old people are. Back in the day, we used to, I think a lot of times, figure out someone's like general age range based upon, if they're a parent, the age of their children, right? That's a really good indicator, because logically you can think like how old they, but that's different. People have kids older now. And if you're a dude, I don't even know, like, and like, I don't even know. I have no clue how old people are. It's just, yeah. So aging gracefully, that's a tough one. But again, I think that can, just like the whole slipping on ice or injury thing, like, why not just use that as fuel to like keep us like taking care of ourselves, right? And if your version of taking care of yourself is Botox, then cool. If it's exercise, if it's skin serums, if it's dancing in your kitchen, if it's listening to your music, if it's going to therapy, if it's going to yoga, if it's meditating, whatever the hell it is, right? If it's screaming into your pillow, like, take care of yourself. And I think that that will help us age gracefully in our own way. Um, okay, this one is a big one. This person, her fear is, she says, my health. She says she's perfectly healthy, but fear of getting sick and leaving my kiddos. Another one. Preach, 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 preach. I will say, I know that not everybody listening and watching are parents, but the truth of the matter is that when you are a parent, um, life is different. Just like life is different when you're not a parent, right? There are a lot of differences between, and there's a lot of similarities, but a lot of differences. And the truth of the matter is that when you do have kids and you think about exiting prematurely, it doesn't feel good to think about that, you know. um we want to be around those of us that are good parents and good people. We want to be around for our kids until we're really fucking old. And not everybody gets that gift. And I just say, be super thankful while you're here, and thankful that you're still here, every moment that you are, you know. Okay, we got a few more here. We're gonna shift into, these few are really more about finances. Retiring without enough to last my life, retirement and not having enough to maintain my lifestyle, not getting social security when it's time, having to work beyond retirement. So these are all like really leading us down the road of talking about finances and stuff. And I do think that that's extremely relatable as well, especially in the middle of life, because you may have been told, oh, well, you need to have this much by this age, and you should have this kind of retirement account, and you should only work until you're such and such age, so then you need to have this much to last you until you fucking die when you're 90, right? Like, there are all these things we've been like told, just like everything in life, that is like the norm, or what we should be doing, or what we should have done by a certain time. But the truth of the matter is that I think most people in the middle of life really haven't reached nor exceeded those milestones that were set when we were younger. And there's a million reasons why maybe you haven't reached them. You could be the most hardworking, amazing, wonderful person, and a few fucking crazy things happen, and all your money might be gone, you know? And this happens all the time. And there's so many of us out there that have different financial concerns for different reasons. And so I think that that's a huge topic to talk about. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you want to DM me or the show, and let me know, like, do you also share those fears of money, and your money lasting, your work lasting? Like, if you are someone that wants to keep working into your older years, right? Like, will you be able to? Will your industry be different by then? Will the job be around? It's just a lot of things to think about when it comes to that. And it's totally a relatable topic for people our age. And then finally, I want to end us on a social media note because, as you probably know, I am a social media creator. I love social media. I own a creative marketing agency. We specialize in social media for businesses and brands. So, social media is like my life. And this one says, I turn 44 next month. I'm afraid of what people think when I post on social media. I actually talked about this in one of the episodes of Middle Mix. There's like tons of talk about this. So go find that episode. We're talking about zero fucks, that episode. But I just want to say that specifically about social media and posting and worrying about what people will think. I think a lot of times, first of all, we might worry about what people in our real life will think when we post on social media, because those are the people you have to like actually face. Like you like you have to like show up at work or at like school or at like the family function or something, and then like you done posted your shit and they saw it, and then now it's like, do we talk about it? What do they think? Do they think I'm a weirdo? Do they think I'm bragging? Do they think I'm dumb? Did I look bad? You know, all these things. I get it. I am now at a really great place with all these things, and I don't worry about that. I actually get excited when people tell me that they've seen my stuff, especially people in real life, because I actually think that that is a way to get to know me and my vibe better, right? But I've been doing this for years, so it takes a lot of practice. So here's what I want to say is that if someone is saying something bad to you about posting on social media, one, it's not nice to be rude. We don't listen to people that are being disrespectful, people that are being mean. There's That's not allowed, right? In our little fun, happy, safe space here. So they can kick rocks, no matter who it is, right? Now, someone might think they're really helping you, but here's the thing: they're not you. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know what it's like to be you. They don't know. A lot of times, these people that are criticizing us for posting on social media don't actually understand social media. You would not believe how many times I get comments from people that like totally missed the mark. Like they don't get it. They don't understand the joke. They don't understand the intention. They don't understand what I'm even doing. Like their comment doesn't even make any sense, right? And so a lot of times that's the case. People just don't quite get it. And it's not necessarily your job to like make them get it. Like if you've got somebody close in your life, you really want to break it down, you want to share with them all your reasons behind posting on social media because you just are like, you have that kind of relationship and you're super close and you want to share, cool. Otherwise, fuck it. It's really not your responsibility to teach someone all of the things about social media. Like they can just Google it and figure it out and then come around when they want to come around. If they don't come around, they don't come around. You know, I think you're going to focus on the mission. That's another big part that I actually talk to people about, like that we work with in my company, and just people that I talk with in general, like other people that want to create more is focus on who you're serving. Why are you posting it? Who are you trying to help? Who are you trying to inspire, entertain, whatever, right? Think about them. If you're too caught up in yourself and being self-conscious and this and that and who's going to judge me and da, 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 then you're not focusing enough on who you're trying to help, right? Or you're just a beginner and it's just going to get better and easier, or both. So keep your eye on the prize. Think about why the hell you're posting in the first place. If you don't know yet, it's okay. You'll know eventually. And focus on the people that you're positively impacting with your content. And think about all of the cool shit it's going to bring into your life, because quite frankly, it's life changing. And I can't even imagine my life without being a social media creator. It's been the best decision I ever made in my life. We're going to say, besides my decision to have children. Okay, let's just assume that always is at the top. But after that, it's choosing to be a creator on the internet. It's the best thing ever, and it gives so much opportunity, and it's allowed me to help so many people in simple ways and big ways and all the ways. It's also helped me build a business. It's helped me meet some of the most amazing people that I know, some of my closest friends, because I'm a creator. So keep these things in mind. What are all the benefits? What are all the opportunities that are going to come around? How are you going to help people? And know that the people that are criticizing you either don't really fucking understand, or they got weird shit going on in their life that is their problem and is not a you problem. And one final thought on that is that what I noticed in my experience, and this is going to give you some hope if you're kind of like earlier on in the process of this, is that I did get criticism from people in my real life. I really did, especially early on. But I persisted and kept going and kept improving, kept learning, kept becoming a better and better creator, understanding what I was even there for, what was my purpose in the situation, all these things, right? Just kept fucking trucking along, even though those people had some things to say, some things that were not nice. And what happens is everything shifts. At first, they might think you're crazy. And later, they're going to ask, how'd you do it? Because you pushed forward and you showed, I'm not just randomly posting this stuff and that I'm going to quit and that I'm going to, no, I'm in this. And this is a real thing. And you just watch and see what I turn it into. And you're going to go from doubting and hating to admiring and respecting. And whether or not I talk to your ass later after you were rude to me in the beginning is up to me. All right, I love talking about this with you guys. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I would love to hear more about your fears as somebody in the middle of life. Please DM the show, The Middle Mix, DM me. We've got Instagram, we got Facebook, we got TikTok, we got all the things. Send all the messages and DMs because I always want to hear your feedback and I always want to know what you are thinking and feeling as somebody else in midlife. So we are all in this together. Thank you so much for listening and for watching, and I will talk to you later.
The Middle Mix is a Fun Love Media production. funlovemedia.com.